Kush and Chemtrails, the world's most dangerous podcast.
Me and this brother were talking the other day, man, and he came up with a really cool concept, man. It was like mind blowing. Well, you didn't come up with it, but you said
shared it with you.
You shared it with me, right?
Yeah.
And it was new to me. So there's not a lot of times where, like, you know, it's like, oh shit, man, like that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then and what it was, what if God is still creating, bro? Right? Like we take into account, like we take it for granted that everything is done. He's done. But what if he's still in the process, or he, it, they, whatever, are still in the process of creating, right? And that's why everything isn't perfect and why everything's fucked up. Still working out the kinks, and we're just part of the process. And what was the other part was that time for God, like if you look at like time for a dog, right? It's like what, 7 human years or whatever for every year they live. Something like that is what they theorize or they suggest, right? Mm-hmm. So what they're suggesting is that time would be different for God as well, where let's say 100 of our years would be like an hour for him, right? And so
and trust, this is not something that I had ever considered.
Yeah.
I often like to challenge my own understanding of, you know, the paradigm and the world that we live in. And I think me and Emmett kind of get off on, get off on kind of wowing each other. Because he'll come to me with information that's like some shit I'd never heard of. And then, like, I don't just bring anything to my man. You know, if it's some shit like when I heard about this, it's because I'm like, man, have you ever considered this? You know what I mean? So. Yeah. That was the cool thing about it. I'm going to play the clip, though, so then we could really get a conversation going.
Yeah.
See what Ronnie thinks about it, too. Hang on real quick, because I downloaded the clip. It's right here. This is from the Math Hoffa podcast, too, so big ups to Math. If anybody hasn't checked out Math Hoffa, he's a battle rapper. I don't know if he still battle raps, but he's a dope rapper, dope MC. But now he does a podcast, and it's pretty popular, man. He be having everybody on there. It's like
his name?
Like a barbershop style. Math, like M-A-T-H, Hoffa.
Oh, Math.
Yeah, I'm good, brother.
Wow.
Thank you. Appreciate you. So, this is off his podcast. I only grabbed a minute clip, but go check out Math Hoffa. I have never really been disappointed when I tune into his, his platform. So, salute to him. But, yeah, check it out. This is what sparked the conversation we're going to have. This OG brother in the barbershop. We're going to have to figure out how to get that.
But it is fact.
Right.
In less than 10 years, we reach the completion of God's 6th day, and he goes in the day of rest. So when I hear y'all speak about this, you don't think my mind thinks that, what's the connection with that? Because then you said in less than 10 years we can become immortal, but in less than 10 years, we reach God's completion day.
Yo, but I'll be honest with you, Big. I don't know how far I could follow that because they were saying that about the year 2000.
They didn't know what they was talking about. That was inaccurate. And this is what the people online will let you know.
I'm just saying.
Everyone will let you
You
know.
don't know those guys.
Online.
You got sneaky knowledge.
It's 1999. That is correct.
If you don't give your soul
If you
to God.
understand the scripture,
I got that, but you got sneaky knowledge. I'm just saying.
It says one day is 1,000 years to the Lord. So right there, that lets you know that according to the scriptures, we have not reached 6,000 years. Not according to science.
No.
This is where science in the scripture.
But you know we like.
So that's the premise right there, according to scripture. And I tried to, look this up because me and you even talked about maybe following this up with even our own research on this, like we always do, bigger than just having a discussion about it. And I didn't find too much. There is a bunch of scriptures that does back his claim that to God a day, or 1 year is like 1,000 years. You know what I mean? So I see where he's making the connection with, damn, I'm high, man. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he's saying that according to scripture, instead of him creating the whole planet in 6 days and resting on the 7th, it was actually 6,000 years. You know what I mean? Because to us, thousands of years goes by before it's even a day to God.
Shit,
Yeah. So according to that, it's possible, like Emmett laid out, that the creation is almost to completion. So I was just like kind of blown away by that concept, man, because here we've been thinking that this book that we're reading occurred thousands of years ago, but maybe not, you know? So then I was like, It just give you a whole different perspective on, you know, just everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, that's a trip.
Yeah, it is a trip when you think about that, bro. It is. Hey, brother, dudes. Let me ask you a question. I know you've read a lot of the 5%er stuff. Do they talk about anything like that?
I mean,
Or just in
you
general,
read
what's
the
your take on
Quran.
it?
They read the Quran, bro. So
Right.
the Quran got a different outlook on how to live.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a fearful kind of book where you feel like, oh, at the end it's gonna happen. They feel like if you living right, Allah gonna take you. That's why you see a lot of the Muslims, it's like, boom, they willing to sacrifice a lot, you know what I'm saying, for what they believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Because long as you good with your God, boom, different thing, you know. So like, of course, whatever the book say, I mean, people gonna be panicked behind that, you know what I'm saying. Then if you got people Bible thumping and playing frisbee with these words, man, it's like, what is people gonna believe today anyway? You know what I'm saying? It's been so much stuff lied to you since you was a kid. Since Santa Claus, you know, Tooth Fairy, all that shit. These are all fantasies to kids. So like when they grow up and you start talking about somebody years ago that wrote a book, that keep passing the book along like a rumor. By the time, you know, this person said something about the book, who knows what this is. By the time it got to us, who knows if it wasn't changed like 15 times before it got to us. You feel me? Like, so I mean, man, I don't really look at the whole like.
And you know what? We weren't fully taking it as like literal from the book. That's why I think Emmett took it to like the lifespan of a fly. You know, just trying to take it to practical things that we can relate to, and then try, because obviously we don't know we can't think of what it would be to be a god. You know, all these terms kind of are unfathomable to us, like omnipotent or infinity. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of unfathomable to a human being. So that's why we was trying to relate it to like relating our lifespan to other lifespans that we can relate to here on earth, you know, and then saying, well, then it could be plausible that to the creator, you know, one day could be 1,000 years to us, you know. So yeah, you know what I mean? It was just like a thought, you know what I mean? It's not even taking it so damn literal, but it's just saying the possibility, you know, because time is an illusion anyway. So then we went down that whole rabbit hole of how time, you know, is only we created time, you know what I mean, to kind of make a linear understanding of our existence when that's not, you know, really a
something
reality.
to accommodate us.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as the biblical context of what that guy's talking about, I don't know what he's quoting.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have to see what he's quoting
Right.
to know exactly what he's talking about. And I don't necessarily look at the Bible at face value. So I may look at those numbers and see something like, oh no, this could be what they're talking about in terms of symbolism,
Right.
or any sort of esoteric thing. Because, you know, we've already gone over the 144,000. We've gone over all those things. So who knows what numbers he's actually talking about. But like you pointed out, the concept is really, really awesome. That's what got me. Because, yeah, it makes 100% sense. Because in the hierarchy of life, every being that has more, I guess, knowledge has more of a longer lifespan. So you would think, okay, the creator then, I mean, we don't even know what that is. We have no concept really.
Right.
So this could have this crazy lifespan. I mean, like the guy's saying, and again, I'm not saying that the biblical context is correct. I'm just saying that concept, that theory, it's plausible, it's possible that God, you know, a lifetime to us is a second to God.
Because really, when you think about it, time only exists if you only have a finite amount of it. right? Like we only have a finite amount of time here in this flesh, you know?
Right.
But to a God, which you just made me open up my mind to a God, he doesn't have, or she, or, you know, the entity, the creator doesn't have a finite time, you know?
Right.
So how can time even exist then if it's infinite? You know, like that
Right.
doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense to us because
Yeah.
we have to track our time because our time here is
It's limited. I
Limited,
understand.
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like-
But
time
it,
probably isn't even a
whoever
concept
it
to-
is, whatever it is, doesn't need to keep track of time because it's not gonna die.
correct.
It doesn't need to go to work. It
Right,
just is.
Right, right.
So
Damn, see?
that's wild.
Maybe that's why these conversations are usually before the pod and not on the pod because these conversations can go.
Kush and Chemtrails, the world's most dangerous podcast.